Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to talk to you guys about assessing limitations and understanding your limitations, and sometimes stepping back and assessing, are your limitations self-imposed? Are your limitations imposed by someone else? Are they real limitations? And is it worth it to you to surpass those limitations? And I can only use my own anecdote here because a lot of people have brought this up and they said, hey Jason, you brag about having been disabled and going and competing in powerlifting afterwards, and it sounds like you're bragging about being on disability, and then that has nothing to do with it, guys. For me, going and competing after being disabled, after having medical doctors tell me I'd probably never lift again, having medical doctors still have me classified as 100% disabled, was about myself. That's it. It was about proving to myself that I was not crippled. Because for me, that was something that terrified me when I was a lot younger in my life, and it's something that people who know me know that I've talked about. I had said before, I would rather be dead than be crippled. That's something I told my sister, and when I got really sick, that really worried her, because for me, that was really a big deal. And yes, I had to learn to walk again. I had to learn to walk without a cane again, had to throw my cane away. I had to rehabilitate myself and build myself back up. But for me, it was important to come back. Yes, I had previously squatted over 600 pounds raw, and I knew I would probably never reach that again in my late 30s coming back, but I had said in my head, I know my doctor said that I can't lift again, I'll probably never lift again, but I refuse to be a cripple. If I can just get to at least 80% of what I used to have, then that'll be okay. And I had decided in my head that I was going to squat 500 pounds raw with no wraps, no sleeves, that I was going to do it, that it was going to happen, and it was going to take me years to reach that goal. And it did take me several years to reach that goal after learning to walk again, and after learning to just squat again while holding onto the back of a chair because I couldn't even squat my body. You know, I had to lose a lot of weight. I had to lose 100 pounds. I got really fat while I was sick in bed. And yeah, it was a goal that I set for my own personal satisfaction. It was something that I needed on a deep personal level, and because I needed that goal so badly for myself, not to impress any of you, not to even impress my doctors or prove them wrong. It was nice to go back and tell them fuck you and fuck your diagnosis. That was nice. That was gratifying. But it was about proving to myself that I wasn't crippled. That's it. And it was so important to me that I dedicated several years to reaching that goal. I had to train smart. I had to put a lot of focus into my training because I don't have a medical sense of balance. I've got an autoimmune disorder in both of my inner ears. But for me, I needed to reach that. It was probably reckless. I put myself at a lot of risk doing that because, again, having medical issues, I'm not functioning at 100%. I'm still not functioning at 100%, and I sure as hell wasn't back then. To step in and say something crazy like I'm going to squat 500 pounds might have been a little unrealistic. It wasn't unrealistic, though, because it was within my reach. It was near the limits of what I could reach, and I knew it was going to take everything I had, but I got there. I reached it. I probably wouldn't have been able to go on to get 600 or 700 or 1,000 or anything crazy because, again, people need to realize you do have limitations. Limitations are not all self-imposed. The laws of physics, the laws of biology, the laws of how much stress a bone in your body will take before it shatters, those are real things. Those are real physical limitations. And those are the things that you have to assess when you look at limits of, is this physically possible? And is it realistically possible? Meaning, am I really and truly willing to make the sacrifices to reach this goal? Are those sacrifices worth it to me? Because they might not be for you. For some of you, even the sacrifices you'll have to make to reach a 500-pound raw squat, for your lifestyle, for your path that you see in life, it might not actually be worth it to you. And if it isn't, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Find what is important to you. Find some goals that are fulfilling and worthwhile for you and your life and what you see and envision for your own life. And for me, not being a cripple and being able to prove to myself that I could still do it, that I wasn't a cripple, that I wasn't disabled, even though the doctor said I was important to me. And I put over 3 years of my life into reaching that. And it became one of my driving goals. It became something that I put as a higher priority than most other things in my life to reach that. And I got there. And then I quit competing in powerlifting again because I proved to myself everything that I needed to prove. Done. Go on to the next thing. And that's another point. When it comes to finding limitations and deciding what your limits are and reaching for those limits, when you do reach those goals, when you finally do reach those things, you have to assess what's next after that. Because it might be something in a different direction. At a certain point, you'll reach that goal and say, can I reach the next goal in the same series? Or am I content with that? And do I need to move on and do something else to be more fulfilled and do for myself and to prove something to myself? Because you don't always have to keep going in the same direction once you reach a goal. And in that case, that's what I did. I reached that goal. I got my medals. I got my 500-pound squat. And I said, okay, guys, I'm done with powerlifting. That was fantastic. What's next? And now I have other personal goals that I'm reaching towards. And so always keep that in mind, guys. You need to assess when you go to define a limit or to surpass a limit that you might have or that has been imposed upon you. You have to decide, is that limit really worth it to you? Is the cost that you're going to have to pay worth it to you? Is it that important to you? And then if you do reach it, when you do reach it, you have to decide what you're going to do next. Do you want to continue on that same path, or do you want to go find a totally different goal to reach towards? And you know, the only answer to that is going to come down to what's going to make you personally feel fulfilled with your life. That's the only thing that you need to consider there. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.